Hey everyone, Reaper here again with comic book haul number 21. Got another great comic book haul to show everybody. And here I have with me, of course, my sidekick, Little Reaper. He seems to be in better spirits today. Um, Yes, so to this comic book haul, I managed to get two more from my top 12 list. Really, really great books. So I'm really excited about having them in my collection. I'm really excited about showing them off. For the rest of the year, I got quite a few big ones to show off. I usually make my videos. I know what's going to be in each video over the year. That's how I do these things. So he's getting a little antsy. So let's get started with comic book haul number 21. Okay, everyone, let's get started with another awesome comic book haul. At the end of the video, I have a ton of shout outs to give. I'm trying to, like I said in my last video, I'm trying to catch up, but let's get started with this. This is The Mighty Thor 202. I believe this is one of the early appearances of Ego in his humanoid form. For those that watched the Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2, you know he is one of the focal characters in that movie, played by Kurt Russell. I've seen this book over and over again in some videos and in some comic book stores. I know, obviously, it's a swipe of Incredible Hulk book. Was it $3.40? But I was able to get this book for $1. Now, I don't know if that's a good deal or not, but I just could not pass up that cover. That is an awesome cover. I don't really know, and it's also autographed by the artist. Of course, I don't have a certificate of authenticity, but whatever, that's fine. But it's a really cool looking book. I couldn't pass it up for $1. And I don't know too much about the Marvel Zombies, but I certainly know this cover. And of course the Amazing Spider-Man, Amazing Fantasy 15 swipe cover. So those always look cool from that particular series. Here we have Marvel Chillers #1, which is the first appearance of Modred the Mystic. I got this for a few bucks. I thought this was pretty cool. It's a decent high grade. What grade did I give it? Maybe a 7.5, so maybe it's not super high grade, but it's good enough for me for what I paid for it. Here we go. The New Teen Titans #21. This is the first appearance of the Night Force. I've always liked the Night Force, and I definitely wanted to get their first appearance, and I was finally able to get around to it, finally able to remember getting it, and here it is. Now, I don't have like a ton of books to show off. That's probably the way it's going to be throughout the rest of the hauls that I have this year, because I'm going with a quality over quantity thing. So I try to, put a decent amount of books in each haul, not a whole lot, with the top 3 usually at the end. That's my formula, but I try to space it out throughout the year because I couldn't possibly put out hauls, every few weeks or every month with big hitters. So this is just the way I do things, and that's why it takes so long for me to release another video. But that being said, let's go to Adventure Comics number 369, the first appearance of Mordru, the Merciless. I think Lightning. Was it Lightning or was it, excuse me, Omega Shinryu Ken that was talking about this book? Yeah, it's definitely, I saw that in one of their videos. I forget which one, but I saw it and I said to myself, yeah, I want to get that. And I got it pretty cheap. I think I got it for $15. Not a bad price. Let me just, excuse you for one moment. Let me just lower the volume on this mic. Sometimes it comes off like I'm sniffing, but I'm actually breathing. I think I have the volume up a little too high. So please forgive me if you hear that. Here's Action Comics #1, the reprint, of course. I might have showed that one off already. I don't remember. Finally able to get this one. Now, how could you not like this cover? Seriously, especially if Dr. Von Chilla has this part of the book as on his channel. That little photo that you have, like I have the Riddler one done by Eddie the Comic Book Guy, an awesome YouTuber and an awesome artist. How could you not want this if Dr. Von Chilla has this as his avatar. So, the Demon #1, the first appearance of the Demon. I bought this off of Facebook a few months back for a price that I was willing to pay for it. I think I paid like $20 for it. It's maybe a 5.0. No, so I'm happy with it. Let me just move these out of the way. Here's another book I was finally able to get. Those of you that have been following my videos, you've been seeing the Wolverine Limited series show up, one book per video, and now I finally have #1. I paid like $15 for it. It's a pretty high grade copy too, I think. It's an 8.5, so I was really happy to get it. But I've always been avoiding trying to get whenever I usually see this, it's usually with all the others. So I haven't really been, willing to spend that price for all 4, but maybe I should have, because I probably wind up spending more for getting them all individually. But that's okay. No big deal. Who cares? Daredevil #78, pretty high grade. It has a little bit of a marker at the top. But this is the first appearance of Manbull. Not quite sure who Manbull is, but he makes his first appearance there. Got this book. I forget who had this book in one of their hauls. This was last year. I saw the cover of Daredevil #91, and I said, wow, this is a really cool cover, and that's why I got it. And I saw it at my local comic book store for a few bucks, and I got it. Very happy to add this one to my collection, Daredevil #158, the first Frank Miller taking over the Daredevil title. Yeah, this definitely started the change for Daredevil. From what I read, Daredevil wasn't doing so well in the 70s until Frank Miller took over and put his take on the whole superhero genre in Daredevil, and eventually influenced the creation of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Daredevil #174, the first appearance of the Hand. That was more Frank Miller goodness. Daredevil 229. These are some filler books. Daredevil 230, and this one's not filler because this is the first appearance of Nuke in Daredevil 232. Nuke showed up on Jessica Jones, and that character showed up there. I could not get into Jessica Jones. You may have heard me say that in a previous video. I don't know. The character, I got in 4 or 5 episodes in. Maybe I should have given it more of a chance, but I just couldn't stand her. I really, when you don't like the main star, you really just couldn't care less what happens to her. I think you probably should move on to a different show, and so I did. Tales to Astonish 44. It's got a little bit of staining on it, but that's okay. The book is complete, intact, and attached. First appearance of the Wasp. Very happy to get this. As many of you know, or I think you do, Tales to Astonish 27 is on my list, top 12 list for this year. So if I'm trying to get the first appearance of Ant-Man, I would have loved to have gotten the first appearance of the Wasp, which I was finally able to do. I think I paid $50 for it. So it's a low-grade copy. It's probably 3.0. So very happy to have that. We're winding down now. Like I said, I try not to make super long videos, but I wind up making long videos. So, just try to make it nice and quick. Here's one of the books that I was finally able to get off my top 12 list for 2017. I'm getting a little too ahead of myself. It's not the first appearance of anybody. It is an awesome, iconic cover of Thor fighting the Silver Surfer on the Rainbow Road. I think there's a lower distribution level for this particular issue too, I think. But yes, this is about a 7.0, 7.5 copy. I paid about $150 for it, I believe. Super happy to finally add this to my collection. As like I said, I make videos every other month. I already know what's going to be in certain videos, and there's still some books I'm trying to get to put in videos, but I pretty much have an idea of what's going to be in my next video and so forth. As I start picking off more and more of my top 12, I'm starting to think about my top 12 for 2018. But we'll get to that at the end of the year. But for right now, we have Silver Surfer #4. Very happy to get this one. And I'm also very happy to get this one too. It's a low-grade copy, but once again, it's attached, intact, and complete. Superboy number 68, the first appearance of Bizarro. Most of us know about Jay and Silent Bob's Secret Stash. Now, I live in New Jersey. I don't live too far from Red Bank. I live about 35 minutes away. But down the road, there's another store called the Comic Crypt. It's not the Comic Crypt at Castle Hills. That's a far creepier place to go. This is just simply the Comic Crypt. In there, that's where I got this book. It's a really cool store, and I think sometimes they have a better selection than Jay and Silent Bob. Sometimes you go into Jay and Silent Bob's store and they have some decent books. Sometimes they don't. But they're both stores are about, reasonably priced. But I got this at the Comic Crypt, and so happy to get it. But it's a low grade. It's missing a piece here, and you never know. Maybe one day I might upgrade it. I'm not seeking to upgrade it, but at least I have something to sell to put toward an upgrade in Superboy 68. So very happy to have first appearance of Bizarro. And now for the marquee book of this haul, top 12 book, number 3 on my top 12 books to get from 2017. Ta-da! Strange, it's about a 3.0, 3.5 copy of Strange Tales 110. We know what this is, but for those of you that don't know what this is the first appearance of Doctor Strange, the Ancient One, Wong, and Nightmare. Really, people, I think, get it because it's the first appearance of Doctor Strange. A little story. I'm about to close up in about another minute or two, but let me give you a little bit of background about how I got this book. This was an attic find. Now, I didn't find it in my attic. Some other guy found it in his attic, off of Facebook. Some guy, unfortunately, his grandfather passed away, and he had a bunch of comic books, this being one of them. He put it up on one of those Facebook comic book groups, saying, hey, he knew what it was. Hey, this is the first appearance of Doctor Strange, and I forget what he said afterwards, but he was, wanting to part with it because he wasn't a comic book collector. So I contacted him, as many others did, as he later told me, and I said to him, well, what do you want for it? And he's like, well, I don't really know. And I said, all right. He sent me close pictures of it. I said, it looks to be maybe about a 3 to a 4. I don't know if it's a 4. I don't think it's a 4 because, as you can see, it's missing a chunk over here, and it's got spine roll and some creases, but it's complete, intact, and attached. But he looked it up. He saw how much it was worth. I didn't want to screw him over because that's not what I do. But I was ready to, pay a decent amount for it. I've been selling some books, selling some of my old books, and selling some Walking Deads. I stopped selling my Walking Deads. I'm going to keep what I have now, but I did sell quite a few, so I was ready to get this. This was number 3 on my list. And I said, well, how much do you want for it? He says, well, I'm really looking for a trade. And I was like, well, what do you want? He says, I'm really into video games. I'm trying to, build up a video game collection. I'm like, oh, really? Well, I'm your guy. He's like, I really like to collect Nintendo games. I'm like, I'm your guy. I have a ton of Nintendo games. I have a ton of video games. I have thousands of video games. And I started naming some that if he wanted. And some were not as valuable as others. I told him. He knew that. And I said, we came to an agreement. I gave him over 50 games. Plus I gave him a good chunk of money. So I did half and half, cash and trade. We both sent out the stuff that day. I gave him the money the night before he shipped this book out. The next day we both he shipped the book, I shipped the games the same day. And the rest is history. He was very happy with the games I sent him. I even sent him a few more games plus a controller in the weeks afterward as a thank you, because it was very nice of him to be willing to work with me because so many people contacted him. But as we were talking, me and him, he said to me, yeah, I've been getting these offers. And one guy, he said this to me, he said, I could give you $100 right now. Yes, I'm sure he could give you $100 for an $800 or $900 book, but that didn't happen, now did it? So it was really nice getting to know him, and we talked, and I'm glad he liked what he got, and I gave him a good chunk of money too, so it was really nice that he was willing to work with me, and I was so happy to finally get one of the top 12 books. I didn't know if I was going to be able to get this year, because I was trying to focus on some other books to get, which were kind of pricey. But yeah, first appearance of Doctor Strange in my collection. Little story behind it, the attic story. Okay, You heard me babble on way too long. Time for the shout-outs. The real reason why people want to watch my video, right? Nah, just kidding. Okay, some of these guys I may have shout out before, but I have a big list of people I want to give a shout out to. These are guys that I watch their videos regularly. Sometimes I get a little behind on them. It happens. I try to watch videos every few days, and I try to bang out maybe 8 or 10 videos. And sometimes in between, I'll watch 2 more videos because it's kind of hard to keep up with everybody, but I try to. So let's start off with the KMN 1971. Awesome guy. Great vids. Now, please forgive me if I don't know all your names, and if I don't go too much into detail with everybody, because I got a long list here, so just bear with me. White Nova Comics, Richard from England. I like his videos. Check him out. Strictly Comics. JCS Comics. Comics Unlimited. Deadpool 2323, he's been doing really good videos, and he's been doing some artist interviews that you got to check out. I forget the one artist that he interviewed that looked really, really nervous. It was funny to watch, though. But, of course, all these guys, oddly enough, their favorite YouTube channel is Deadpool 2323. I don't know. What a coincidence, right? Gory J, that's Jeremy, really cool guy. He puts out videos, I think, every week. Or every 2 weeks. Rebel Comics, Larry, Niobe creator, check him out. Batsman fan, Batzman. He's got a fantastic collection, and I really like that antique car he drives in some of the earlier videos. Man from Beantown, Ben. Of course, I'm going to shout out my boy from Beantown. Arkham Comics, Las Vegas, Dan. I just love this guy's videos. He was one of the first people that I started watching on YouTube back in 2014. Vin Crew, 12. Is it 12,000? I forget the number after that, Vin Crew. Sorry. Carl on Base, 181. Check out Funwood Comics. Check out El Comic Box. Check out Tats Comics. Check out my man Jimmy C. And check out this other guy, Tim Murphy. He doesn't really put out videos, but he's starting up his own comic book. Well, he started his own comic book, much like Larry. Rebel Comics has his own comic book out there. It's a kids pirate adventure. So he might be doing updates on his channel. You never know. But just give him a sub, give him a watch, and see what goes on. Thank you once again. Thank you for everybody that continues to watch my videos and supports me and sticks around for my long, boring dialogue, or maybe not, I don't know. But thank you very much. I really appreciate it. My next video should be out at the end of July, beginning of August. That'll be my 3rd anniversary video, and it will be a Spider-Man only video. It will be a super haul, not an ultra haul, a super haul. And I got a really, really awesome book that I'm going to show off in December. I know, December. It's so long ago. It's so long from now. But I'll be talking more about that when we get closer to it. But let's just say the end of this year with some of the books I have to show off, 2017 is wind up to be a fantastic year. Thank you for watching. I'll be watching your videos. See you soon.